Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo may be in hot water not just politically but legally. The Republican-led House Subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic just referred the Democrat to the Justice Department for potential prosecution, saying that Cuomo lied to Congress during an interview this summer with the subcommittee on his role in drafting a 2020 report, New York State Health report, that underestimated the number of COVID nursing home deaths in New York State. Let's bring in the chairman of the subcommittee, Republican Representative Brad Wenstrup of Ohio. He's also a physician. Congressman, what exactly does your committee believe Cuomo lied about?
Well, first of all, let me just say on behalf of the victims of COVID and their families, and especially in New York in this case, I wish we weren't required to make this referral, but the facts left us no choice. And so we recommended to charge criminally on false statements. So let's just start with one. Governor Cuomo said that he was not involved with the review or drafting of the New York Health Department report from July 6th, which was intended to downplay the accusations that his directive to put COVID patients into nursing homes was a problem, and it was to downplay that. He said he had nothing to do with it. He said he didn't review it and didn't edit it, but we were able to get documents. We spoke to people on his team. We requested records, and we were able to clearly get evidence that he did do that. But in his transcribed interview, he said he did not. Another one that stands out is they said there were no discussions with him about getting the report peer reviewed. If you didn't have anything to do with the report, I guess you wouldn't have anything to do with the peer review, but evidence shows to the contrary, that he did, that he made recommendations of who he wanted to peer review the article. And, at one point he said he had no knowledge of anyone outside the Department of Health reviewing the report, but clearly by the evidence, that shows that he did have influence on that as well.
And the evidence is mainly people who worked around him contradicting him. I mean, I saw the transcript of his former assistant who was forwarding a document with edits, and she told your committee your subcommittee that was his handwriting, the notes on the edits for this New York State Health Department report. That's what you mean when you talk about evidence that contradicts him?
Absolutely. And in one of the emails, it was said that the governor's edits are attached for your review, and that was part of it. So, clearly there's a contradiction there when he said he had nothing to do with that. It's very interesting, Jake, because he said he had nothing to do with the directive to put patients into nursing homes with COVID. And that was a directive. That wasn't a guideline or a recommendation. That was a directive. And so he put that out, prohibited the nursing homes from even testing patients for COVID, and then said he had nothing to do with it, but then was defending it, saying, well, it adhered to CDC guidelines, which it did not, or else there have been a lot of states that were maybe doing the same thing, but they weren't, because it didn't adhere to CDC guidelines. And then he said, well, the nursing homes should have been following CDC guidelines, but those were guidelines, and his was a directive with his name on it.
So his legal team filed a referral letter to the Justice Department requesting that they investigate you.
Right.
They're alleging some collusion having to do with you and Janice Dean, who's a Fox News weather reporter whose husband's parents died in a nursing home in New York, and I think he's suing the state. What's your response to this?
Well, it seems reactionary, but I don't take it very seriously, Jake, because there's nothing there. I will never apologize. I know they use a picture where I'm hugging Janice Dean, but I'll never apologize for being compassionate towards people that lose loved ones. That to me is just a human touch, and part of me as a physician, and I've had to do that with Gold Star families, et cetera. So I think they're just trying to find something, and maybe they don't understand what a congressional investigation is required to do. And I can tell you, as a member of Congress and chairing this committee, we wanted to hear from the people of New York that had something to say because they were so personally affected. And Janice Dean happened to be one of them, but one of many. and she's just one of many from both sides of the aisle that have stepped forward, Jake.
Yeah, and for people at home who maybe don't fully understand, that report from the New York Department of Health undercounted the number of deaths due to this directive at nursing homes by about 47%. That's according to a different audit by a New York Democrat. A Republican congressman from Ohio, Brent Wenstrup, the chairman of the subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. Thanks so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you.